Okay, queue services that helps you run functions asynchronously. Okay, multiple functions, okay, multiple services asynchronously, and use their return values when they are done processing. When they are done processing means, okay, result of the services. And this is an implementation of promises and deferred object of Chris Cowell's queue. Actually, we have promises and deferred objects in queue. Okay, so these two are very important to read the data using queue service. Okay, so promise and deferred. Promise in AngularJS. Okay, AngularJS provided view the built-in queue service. They provide a way to execute asynchronous functions in series by registering them with a promise object. Okay, so by using promise object, we are executing functions asynchronously. And deferred means a deferred object is simply an object that expresses a promise as well as the associated methods for resolving that promise. Okay, if you get any errors, in the promises, so deferred object will resolve the issues. Okay, it is constructed using the queue deferred method. Okay, $q.deferred method. So that is the function, and exposes three main methods: resolve, reject, and notify. Okay, so these three methods, okay, resolve the error, reject the result, and notify to the user. Okay, if is there any issues in the service, um, normal issues, okay, normal issues resolve the automatically by using deferred object. And if is there any uh, typical issue, okay, reject the service. And if is there any notifications, okay, this method notify to the users. And the associated promise object can be accessed via the promise property. Okay, so this is the reject. We have seen how to successfully resolve a promise, but what happens if the async functions fails? Okay, if the function fails, what we can do? Rather than using resolve method, we can call the reject method if something goes wrong. Okay, is there any typical issues? And to read the data from the database by using service, so we can reject the service. Okay, we can reject the service by using reject. Okay, so we have the example. Okay, so this is the example. It's the same service. So in first example only. Okay, so now we are not using HTTP service. Okay, we are using queue service. Okay, here you can use queue. And next, return. First of all, we have to use return. Okay, yeah, this is the return. Okay, queue service return the result. Okay, so you see here, and use their return values when they are done processing. Okay, so this is the return values. Okay, 1 second. Okay, so this is the service. So when you run the application, this controller, okay, this controller goes to the service and execute this function, get data function, and this get data function execute the service by using queue service, okay, and deferred and resolve reject methods, and div.promise, okay, return is div.promise. So this is the result, passing this result to controller, and this controller we are um, displaying the result in the view. So run this example, go to states info, okay, so now state information is displaying in the state info form, okay. Okay, old code is in comment, okay, so this comment code is not executing. So this is the service, okay. In AngularJS we have to create the services like this. Say app.service, service method to define the services in AngularJS, and this is the service name, okay. So we have to inject this service name in controller, okay, and these services are used to execute set of functions and get the result from the functions, okay. By using promises and deferred, reject, these are the three important parts in queue service, okay. Deferred, resolve, reject, and promise, okay. In real-time applications also, okay, if you are working with the services, you need to use queue service only, okay. Don't use http dot get method directly, okay. In real-time applications, compulsory use queue service to read the data from the services, okay. That is safety, okay. In control in AngularJS, so you have to create the services like this, okay. Services are set of functions to execute and perform some certain tasks, okay. So defined with the service functions, okay. So this is the service example, okay. Another example, so right like this we can use services, okay. And this is another example, by using AngularJS application module app.service, and actually this is calculator example, okay. Calculator example, uh, okay. So copy this code and state info, okay. So text box, okay, and two buttons, okay, square and cube, okay. So enter any number in this text box and click on square button or cube button, you will get the result in answer div tag, okay. So this is the service, okay. In any order we can write code, okay. My app dot service, okay. My app dot service, this is math service, mathematical operations we are doing, and add, subtract, multiply, and divide. Hmm, calculator service. Okay, so calculator service. Hmm, okay, so actually this is the services. Okay, three services and one controller. Okay, so states controller, a math service and a calculator controller. So copy this one. Again put in comment this in our main controller, states controller. We use this. Okay, do square function and do cube function. In the controller we can use calculator service. Okay, so calculator service, update service, calculator service, and this service have two functions. Okay, square and cube. So this function, okay, this function injected another service, math service. Okay, in service also we can inject another service. Okay, so we have to inject this service in controller finally. Okay, in service we can inject another service, and finally we have to inject this service name in controller. Okay, so this is the actually main service. Okay, in this main service, so this is the child service. Okay, math service. This math service dot multiply. Math service contains multiply function. This function passing two values. Okay, a and b. Okay, same value we are passing, a comma a. Okay, return a into b. Okay, function, multiply function, two parameters. Okay, a comma a, and here we are using a comma b. Okay, two values, and this multiply function returns a into a. Okay, for square, and for cube, math service dot multiply. In this multiply function, again we are passing math service dot multiply function. First this result is getting, and after that with this result we are getting another result. Okay, that is cube result, and passing this result to calculator service and display that result in answer. Okay, here. Okay, so 4 square. Okay, and cube 64. So like this you can get the result. Okay, this is the mathematical functions. Okay, and this is the services in AngularJS. And the next one is factories. Okay, factory is a function which is used to return value. and it creates value on demand whenever a service or controller requests. Okay, so whenever a service or controller require any value, okay, this function is used to return the values. Okay, do the mathematical functions and return that value to the controller or service. Okay, so that is demand. Okay, whenever they need the result, service or controllers, okay, we can use factories. So for example, here we used math service and calculator service. Okay, so we can create factories like myapp.factory method. Okay, these factories are used to return values to the service or controllers. Okay, if they need any resulted value, we can use factories. So math factory, okay, function, this factory, okay, this is the object where factory is the empty object. Factory is a function to return the value. It creates value on demand whenever a service or controller requests. Okay, so factory dot multiply function. So we have to pass two values to this function to multiplication. Okay, to multiply the two values and return that value. Okay, value. Okay, so for the controller or service, if they need any my app dot service, okay, my service, comma, function. Okay, we can use this math factory in this function. Okay, math factory. Now use scope also. Scope dot mm, scope dot answer. Scope dot answer equal to math factory dot math factory dot multiply. Okay, multiply function. For this multiply function, pass two values. Multiply 4 comma 4. Okay, call this service name in the controller and comment this code and take another button, type equal to button and value equal to factory and ng click equal to my function. Okay, so the result is displayed in div tag my result. and my result. This result copy and paste here. Scope dot function name is my function. Next scope dot my result equal to my service dot my service dot answer. My service dot answer. Scope dot my result my service dot answer. Factory method 2 4 plus 4. Scope name, okay. Factory. Yes, I've done one. Yes, injecting error. Factory result 404, 4 into 4. two values and controller to controller math factory. Math factory data multiply my value, my result. So directly it will display result in my result. Scope dot my function so factory. Okay, so 32. So the result is 32. We are given 4 comma 8 value factory multiplication. Okay, so now the result is displayed in my result variable. Okay, so this service factories are used to create the values. Okay, return values. Okay, so which is used to return values and creates value on demand whenever a service or controller requests. Okay, so now in this scenario, controller needs a value. Okay, needs a value to display the result. So that factory is created the value. Okay, factory is created the value. Okay, the multiplication value and send it to the controller. Okay, as a result.